Good evening, Tinners, and welcome to the first podcast of the season. I'm joined here today with Harry and Aaron.
Yeah.
Well over the first sort of 2 weeks of the season. It's been a tough start, but we always knew that was going to be the case. Um, Harry, Aaron, I think you both were at the game yesterday. Harry, if I could ask you for your thoughts first up, if you could, mate.
Yeah, so first off, have to give it to the Southend fans. Like they were unbelievable. They filled both sections of the West Stand. Um, and they were really noisy, the noisiest I've ever heard. By all accounts, decent people as well. Look, they were a League One team 2 or 3 years ago. So let's not kid ourselves and go out there expecting us to um, turn over teams like this. Like realistically, these guys are going to be up there trying to compete for the title, and we're here trying to survive relegation. And we've had that again against York last weekend. So yeah, it's a tough start to the season, but all in all, I feel like we gave a really good account of ourselves in the first half, and dare I say it, I think we were actually the better team. Although we didn't, I think was it one shot on target in the entire game. There were signs of like a threat from us, and especially with DJF, the midfield looked a lot more solid compared to the last couple of games. Yeah, but then as is of a recent trend, we capitulated when Southend turned it on second half, and yeah, we just looked a bit blunt up top. So yeah, it was difficult to compete against someone like Southend, but the effort from the players was there, and the fans were there, and we turned out in great numbers. So it's not all doom and gloom, and I know for a fact that we keep playing like that, we will get results. That's my honest
Yeah.
opinion of the
And
game.
Aaron, do you agree, or do you see it slightly different, mate?
Yeah, so firstly, I completely agree on the point about the away fans. They were absolutely rocking. So I was in the ground like 2 hours early, so I can film a little few bits before the game starts. About 45 or so minutes before the game even started, they were there cheering, rocking. They were really loud. It was unbelievable. But yeah, in terms of the game, I thought we did really well. We matched them for most of the game. Like the first half, there wasn't any glaring, obvious chances either side. We did have that great chance where Hassani put it over for Anaya and he had that shot across goal and it went wide. But that very easily on another day could have been a goal. I don't think in the first half Southend had any moments where I jumped out of my seat where they were going to score. I don't think there was anything. I don't think they were cutting us open too much. Although I do think they had more of the ball than we did. And relatively same thing in the second half as well. I thought we matched them, obviously, apart from their goal, which had we cleared it, could have not happened. If I remember correctly, it was a cross in, it bounced around a bit, and it just got lashed in. So had we scored that earlier goal and managed to clear that one, could have been a different game. But at the same time, I don't think anybody expected to go into that game and win it. As we're saying, Southend are a top side in this league, and we're trying to survive relegation completely. But at the same time, if we go week in, week out, playing well, performing well, but not getting the result, then we don't get anything. So you kind of have to balance the trying not to be too negative, but also being a bit realistic as well. I thought it was a good performance. Um, and it was the same thing against York as well. Did great for most of the game and just fell off towards the end. So our home form has been okay. We just need to get a few goals and to get that confidence. I feel like our players really lack the confidence in front of goal. Once we get into the final third, we just make the wrong decision in terms of it seems like that people don't want to shoot or they make the wrong decision. I remember Johnson Fisher got into the final third yesterday and just I don't know what he did. He just passed it across to the other team, and we didn't even have a player there. So I'm not really sure what he was thinking. But I feel like the players just get a bit nervous in front of goal, and once we do get that first goal, and we can then hopefully get that first win, and the confidence will rise from there. Having Harvey back as well now because he came on against Southend, that should hopefully help our kind of firepower going forward and bring the confidence back to the team. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting a few results over the next few weeks, hopefully, and then hopefully the season will kick on from there. Try not to be too negative because it is still really early, but results like this can't continue.
Yeah, of course, and we've moved to more of a professional full-time outfit over the summer. But just by flicking that switch, you don't automatically get you don't become professional in terms of your stamina and whatever else. And I think we've seen over the last well, certainly the two home games that maybe we are lacking a little bit going into the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. So perhaps as the season goes along, we'll start benefiting from that full-time switch. But so a couple of little bits on the socials, and hopefully you can put these things right. That the atmosphere maybe was a little bit quiet from our lads. You guys were there. Unfortunately, I was stuck up in the Cotswolds, so I couldn't get down. But is that a load of rubbish? Is it sort of people just staring a little bit online? Because every time I've been there, it's been absolutely rocking.
So as I said at the start, like the Southend fans were unreal. I've never seen fans like that. They were the best fans I've seen at TCS by a country distance. And I think, that coupled with the fact that we've had not much to cheer about in the last few weeks, you know, you can't really put it all on the fans for, there was a lot of songs sung and there was a lot of atmosphere, but it wasn't the same excitement as we usually get, and we got every week last season. It was off the back of 4 straight defeats without scoring a goal. um so you can't hate on the fans too much for not creating an atmosphere. And the Southend fans were like so loud. I've never seen anything like that at the TCS, or one of the biggest teams we've ever hosted. So yeah, it was a different sort of vibe on Saturday.
And your thoughts, Aaron?
Yeah, and I completely agree with that. I think the fans do need something to be enthusiastic about. I mean, I was actually sitting in the Eden stand because I take my daughter to quite a lot of the games, so I've got to sit in the more quiet family area. But I was a little bit closer over to the away fans, and like looking over at our fans in the Eastern stand, it was like, yeah, not much going on compared to the Southend fans, definitely. But at the end of the day, we need something to cheer about. Like if you looked at the St Albans game last year, I turned up to that game and it's like it's a party. Everybody's going crazy, because they have something major to actually be excited about. And if you're, especially when we're not making that many chances in the game, if the fans can't see a goal coming, at least, then they're not really, you have to give them something to be excited about. And because in that game, quite a lot, it was like, yeah, we were defending well, getting forward okay, but we could have played that game for 180 minutes. We wouldn't have scored because the fans couldn't see the goal coming. So, the team has to give them something to be excited about, but also, it is a bit difficult when the away fans are absolutely rocking and the home fans are completely quiet. So kind of need to kind of strike that balance with cheering on the lads, but also them giving us something back as well, to be honest.
I totally agree with that. I just think like we'd never seen anything like that before. It was a bit like everyone was sort of in awe of it a little bit. It sounds embarrassing, but yeah, it was impressive from the Southend fans, and we did try and give our best. But like Aaron says, there wasn't much to cheer about, was there?
Okay, so a bit of a raking over the ashes of the first couple of weeks. Then we've obviously had the four league games and the National Cup game, which was a bit of highlight. We as is well documented, no goals for, 7 against. I think there's a stat going around that we've maybe had only 4 shots on target across those 4 games. Is there anything that you guys are seeing, whether it's positive or negative, that those 4 games have really shown up?
Yeah, so I think barring the Tamworth game, which was a total disaster, I feel like we have improved on each game. The Wellstone game I was at, we were totally overrun in midfield. They were more physical, better in the air than us, and definitely more technical on the ball. And we just looked a bit lost against Wellstone. I don't think we were expecting them to be that good. And to be fair to them, they won the next couple of games after that as well. So they have done well, Wellstone. But then, yeah, against York and against Southend on Saturday, I feel like the midfield looked a lot better. We just look a bit blunt up top. Sanders coming into the back line against Southend as well gave us definitely a bit more height at set pieces, made us look less vulnerable. And in my opinion, in my own tactical head, which is nowhere near as good as Askey's, obviously, I feel like we should move to a 4-3-3. I'm I'm not feeling the 5-3-2 or whatever it is anymore. I'm not really liking the wing back thing. I don't feel like we're impacting the game in wide areas. So I feel like we should probably try and go through the middle a bit more and add a bit more firepower up front, whilst having two big centre backs at the back. So I'd prefer this new fella, Donnellan and Sanders, and obviously when Harrison's back to fill in as well, and go to two at the back or four at the back, and then give us more options up front as well. That's what I think would be an improvement on, for Boreham Wood or Boston United next weekend.
So let's stick with that idea of going to a four at the back. That raises some interesting selection issues, because you've got over on the right-hand side, the right back position, you've probably got a straight battle between the Ox and Zach Bell, two of the probably leading highlights of last season. I thought Bell was sensational after he came in sort of after Christmas. And then you've got Conor Riley-Lowe over on the left with Lawsey. That's flip a coin on that one. Who are you playing right back and left back in that formation as your first choice?
Aaron, do you want to go on that one?
I'll let you go first on that one.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
You raised it. You raised it.
Honestly, I think Ryan Law has been one of the standout players of the last few games. I think he's been outstanding. He's actually someone I think has saved us in a lot of situations. Connor is so good technically. His balls into the box, his corners, I think, are really important as well. So it's really hard to toss up who to have at left back. Like, I'd take either. To be honest, I wouldn't be disappointed with either. But I think in the middle, we need actual centre backs. And then like an Ox and a Bell on the right. I feel like you've got two really good fullback options. And then we just need to like sort of get a bit more physicality in the middle. So like Sanders, I don't know when Harrison's back. That needs to, hurry up. Hopefully, I know he broke his leg, but hopefully he's back soon, because he was out for so long. Such a key player for us as well. And this Donnellan guy, I don't know anything about him. He's coming from the Scottish Premiership to Truro, which, fair play to him, up in sticks in Scotland and moving down to Cornwall. Like, good lad, come help us, because we desperately need it. Yeah, he's played at National League level before as well, so he knows a bit about this league. He's got a bit of experience about this league, which is desperately needed as well, because who else has played in this league? I think maybe Zach Bell played for Maidenhead. Harry COYT, but we've not seen anything of him yet, really. That's my opinions on it.
Yeah, I think in terms of like the question of like what positives and negatives have I seen that are thrown up from our opening four games, I think I don't actually. I mean, obviously apart from the Tamworth game, because that's an entirely separate travesty that I'm just keeping aside from the rest of the games, because that was shocking, honestly. But I think the main thing is actually our attack. I don't think our defense really has been too bad. Like, as I said, for York, we didn't concede for 80 minutes. For Southend, we just conceded one, which could have easily not gone in. It wasn't like they carved us open and, it was a cross in and could have been cleared. So I don't think our defense has actually been too bad. I think the main problem is our attack. We just I'm not sure if it's a formation issue or if it's a confidence issue or if it's like Harvey not being available, just coming back now. Maybe does him coming back give us a firepower and confidence up front? I don't know. We'll see. But it's clear for me that the main problem is the attack, and I don't think it's necessarily the creating chances either. Because against Southend, we created one or two chances, and at the end of the day, when you're playing teams like this, you may only be able to get one or two chances. It's taking these few and far between chances that actually decide the game. Had Southend not taken that one chance they got, would have been 0-0. You have to take your chances. So I'm not expecting the team to carve teams open and get a chance every 5 minutes. But if they get one or two in the game, they need to take them, win the game 2-1, 2-0, so, and that's just not what we're doing at the minute. The chances that we're creating, we're not taking them. as I said, I don't know whether it's a formation issue, whether it's a confidence issue, whether it's just a quality of the player. Like, are our players just not of this league quality? I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think we're a bit too early to kind of have too many answers at the minute. But I think the main issue that I've seen so far, keeping Tamworth out of my head completely, is the confidence going forward and the being clinical in the final third. That's had we been more clinical in all of the other games, we would have had points by now. And because we have had chances, there's not been a single game yet where we've had no chances. We just haven't been able to take them.
To say we did move to 4-3-3, is Jeff Cott replacing Harvey up top, or is he Harvey's understudy? Because I'm struggling to see where he would go in terms of the wide positions. What's your thoughts, Harry?
So my initial thoughts would be to have Harvey in the middle with Starkey and DJF either side. So Harvey could sort of win the flick on for those sort of like faster, better technical players. Starkey's a good dribbler. DJF obviously loves running in behind and squaring it. I feel like those three up front would be an improvement on our current attack, personally. And I do feel like Raquel Pike is quite good at nodding it on as well. But I haven't seen enough from him yet for him to warrant a starting place. Jeff Cott, again, was playing Cam or centre attacking midfield last season. I think he needs to go back to being a striker, and I definitely feel like he can be another alternative for Harvey in terms of like a target man, or someone that can like thread it on to the faster, more pacier strikers like DJF and Starkey.
Before we cover off Boreham Wood, we've got 7 days left of transfer window, more or less. What additional work do you think needs to be done? If you could snap your fingers, let's say that budget is there, but it's reasonable. It's not kind of fairy tale stuff. Where would you like to see the money put? We'll go with Aaron first, if that's okay.
I was just thinking whilst you were asking the question there. I think now we've got Harvey coming back as that main clinical forward. I think if we had a winger or two, I know we've got DJF. If we had another winger there, potentially someone better in the sort of number 10 position to actually create those chances. I know Hassani's been doing a great job. But I think if we, because our problem is like not only are we not creating too many chances, we're not taking them. But had we had more chances, possibly we could have scored one. Because I feel like quite a lot watching Truro at the minute. It's like chances are really few and far between, and there's not many clinical passes that are breaking defenses down. We're not outsmarting them. So I feel like if we had a sort of technical player in that sort of number 10 who can actually put a ball through that's going to cut open defenses. And I think now we've got Harvey coming back is essentially like a new signing coming off these last 4 games, because he's clinical, he takes his chances, so I feel like that's going to make a big difference. And yeah, that's really all I can say for the minute, because I think our defense overall has actually been okay, to be honest. But also it would completely depend on how much budget you're really talking about realistically, isn't it? So so I'd say a creative midfielder, possibly a winger. Yeah, I think going on what I've seen so far, that's what I would say. But yeah, we'll see how the next couple of games go as well.
So personally, I would want to prioritise a goal scorer, someone that is proven at this level. I don't mind a journeyman or whatever, but I think we really need someone up top that knows how to score against this sort of opposition. That would give us a lot more confidence going forward, because, like Aaron says, we've been decent defensively. But seconding that, I would then go for a centre back, depending on how long Harrison's going to be out for, because he was such a good player last season before he got injured, obviously. I definitely think that he is more than capable of competing at this level, and he would improve our defence massively right now. So depending on how long it takes for him to come back to fitness, if that's a month, then don't get a centre back. But if that's like 6 months, then definitely let's get another centre back. even if it's on loan. And I think we need to be realistic looking at the loan market as well. And coming to the end of August, there's going to be some cheap bargains to pick up on loan from, League One, League Two teams that have got players that are just, that aren't going to play. That will give us like a cut price on wages. There's definitely a few options there. And yeah, like I do hear what you're saying, Aaron, about the centre mid. Like I do feel like that is something we are lacking at the minute. Is that Enea was tenacious and really gritty against Southend, and I think he had a good game. Hassani as well has looked positive. Taylor coming off the bench, I like him. I do just feel like Rooney's not played particularly bad either. It's hard to really be too negative about any of their performances. But you're right, we need a bit more going forward from the midfield. Whether or not Harry COYT is the guy to save us, but again, like when is he back? Like how long is he going to be out for? If he's going to be back next game, brilliant. Like maybe we don't need a centre mid, but in my opinion, goals is the issue. Like we haven't scored. We've had 4 shots on target, like you said. Yeah, we obviously need firepower. We need someone that's going to score goals because without goals, you don't win games.
Yeah, nicely put. So, Boreham Wood, is that where the O goes? Are we going to maybe not 3 points, maybe not even a point, but are we at least going to score at Boreham Wood? Because obviously they came up with us last season, playoff winners. Realistically, this is a big game already, isn't it? Because even if we win it, we're not outside the relegation zone. So, where do you see that game going?
They didn't play on Saturday, so they haven't come off the back of a result on Saturday. They've had a bit of a respite. The last game was Wednesday, which they won 2-1 against Braintree. So it's going to be tough, They've had more of a break than us. They've got a win under their belt. They know that we haven't scored and we're coming to their gaff. It's going to be tough. Every game is going to be tough until we get those first points. We get that goal. But Boreham Wood is realistically, if we play like Southend, we could get a draw at least. We could nick a goal, nick a penalty. That's how we're going to kickstart this season, is from something gritty, in my opinion. We need like DJF being bundled over and Harvey burying it, getting the fans on side, nicking a 1-0 or a 1-0. And then we build. And then like if we do that against Boreham Wood tomorrow, suddenly everyone goes into Boston United on Saturday feeling way more positives. The fans will be way louder than they were at Southend. Boston United, I would say, we want to be finishing ahead of them in the table, realistically, don't we? Maybe I'm being naive, but like that's what we got to be aiming for. So Boreham Wood tomorrow is massive. Fingers crossed ASCII switches it up a bit because they need a bit of life. The last away performance was dire.
Yeah, I think realistically, in terms of the teams that we've got in the league, if we can't get anything from this game, then it's hard to see where our points away are actually going to come from, to be honest. And then it's a question of, are we going to be completely relying on our home form? So I think we can get something tomorrow, especially if Harvey starts, which he could, because he came on the other day. So I'm hoping he does. And if we can, like you say, if we can nick a goal, park the bus, I'll be happy with that. Just score a goal, get a bit of confidence. And obviously Boreham Wood, they've already got a win and we haven't scored at all. So the confidence is going to be on their side rather than ours. But at the end of the day, if we are going to get points away from home, this is one place where we could get them. And it could actually give us a massive confidence boost if we're actually picking up results away, coming into that game against Boston, which is another game which we could definitely, realistically, we should be at home winning that, I think. So yeah, I mean, it could go either way, but at the end of the day, we could have no away confidence and play like we did against Tamworth, and it'll be a travesty. Like, who knows? Our away form just seems so much less predictable than our home form at the minute. So it could go either way. I'm hoping for a 1-0, park the bus, nick a win, get away with it. But realistically, it depends on how confident the team are feeling, and yeah, it just completely depends on their mentality on the day, really. So we'll just see what happens, I guess. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Hopefully, the next podcast, which we're hoping to get out in a week's time, will come to fruition with us sat we're here with 6 points and we've gone on a two-game run because I do think it's going to be a league
Yes.
with runs, good runs, bad runs, and it's all about riding those waves and obviously not trying to get too down when things have gone against us. I think John has said something very similar about not getting too high and not getting too low. But for all the tinners out there, thank you so much for joining us. We hope to be doing a lot more of this stuff. Tinner Talk is back, it's kicking. We've got some great stuff lined up for the year. Have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much. Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. You're welcome.